The Battlefront 2 Space Battles trailer released a couple of days ago, and honestly, I think it's the best Battlefront 2 trailer so far. Now, I say this because Space Battles was my favourite game mode from the previous game, so this is kind of what I've been waiting for with Battlefront 2. Now, the trailer contained a crazy amount of details, some of which a lot of people still have yet to notice. So today we're going to take a look at 10 features and key details from the Space Battles trailer that you may have missed. My name is Connor and welcome back to Star Wars Central. Okay, so the first detail at the start of this trailer is the First Order troop transport. You can see it here being escorted by a squadron of TIE fighters away from the Resurgent class Star Destroyer. Now, it could be that these troop transports are part of a multi-stage mode that involves ground combat on the planet below. Or what's more likely is that by destroying these transports you can increase your team's score with the objective, or maybe earn more battle points to unlock reinforcements and heroes. Now, we don't know much about the objective on this map, but I guess it's probably going to be to destroy the Star Destroyer. Next up at number 2, we've got multiple details that have me seriously hyped to play the ARC 170. This is because the details I'm about to show you should mean that the ARC 170 is a true multi-role starfighter, which means it's not just for space superiority, it can do a little bit of everything. So firstly, with this frame here, you can see that the nose section of the ARC 170 has a small indent that seems to be a proton torpedo launcher. If we move forward in the trailer, it's later revealed that the ARC 170 can actually fire proton torpedoes, which can be seen in this frame here. The next detail is that the ARC 170 has two rear turrets, one facing above and one facing below. Now, something really awesome about these is it seems they are not just props on the ship, they are actually functioning turrets. It's something I noticed straight away, and I'm surprised that more people haven't picked up on it. So if you watch this footage here where Darth Maul's scimitar comes on screen, you can see that the turret does actually track the scimitar, and I'm guessing the ARC 170 might have an ability that when activated will allow the rear turrets to fire. And a final detail that should be no surprise is that the ARC 170 has an astromech droid on the top, so perhaps if they wanted to make this really overpowered, they could give it a repair ability as well. Now at number 3 we have weapons platforms surrounding the Fondor shipyard. Now this is one that I spotted because I kept going through the Darth Vader footage over and over again, and I think what I've spotted is pretty damn awesome. Since they've been releasing promotional material about the Fondor Imperial shipyard, a lot of people have been asking what the random satellites or platforms around the shipyard actually do. And for a while, many people thought that they were fuel storage, communications platforms, lots of theories, but no concrete evidence. But this footage from the trailer here shows that they do have weapons and they fire during the game. So if you look closely here, the platform on the edge of the Imperial shipyard fires what looks like two lasers from a single turbo laser battery underneath the platform. Chances are there is a turbo laser underneath and on top of the platform to allow a full 360-degree field of fire around the installation. Now, we don't know if these target players or if they just target ships, but if they do shoot at players and they can be destroyed, then they're gonna add a whole new level of depth to space battles. And there is another detail that I just wanted to point out. There is actually a second shipyard in orbit over Fondor. It's almost definitely a prop and part of the scenery, but a pretty cool detail nonetheless. Next up for our fourth detail, we've got the YWing Turret ability. As you can see here, the turret module is empty, there is no second player inside the Y-Wing. We kind of always knew that the Y-Wing probably wouldn't be a two-seater vehicle. So this means that the turret is either automatic and fires constantly throughout the game, or what's more likely is that you have an ability that you can activate, which by the looks of it, auto-locks the turret to the nearest target and starts firing. If I am correct about this ability, then it's probably also timed and has a cooldown. I doubt it fires constantly because that amount of consistent damage would seriously tip the scales in any battle. The thing is, we don't actually see anything killed on screen by the turret, and chances are its damage is pretty low. I'm guessing it's only meant for self-defense, since the bombers will have less of a chance against enemy fighters. Moving on to our fifth detail, it is another ability for the Y-Wing that kind of went under the radar. And this isn't really anyone's fault, it's just the perspective of the camera makes it kind of difficult to tell what's happening. So if you look at these frames here, you can see that the Y-Wing launches a proton torpedo. But it actually launches two of them, and you can see them arcing downwards instead of going in a straight line. This means that the Y-Wing probably has a bombing ability that lets you fire multiple proton torpedoes at once. Now this ability is probably meant for hitting large space targets or ground targets, just like the Y-Wing bombing runs in Rogue One. What makes this really interesting is that it means the Y-Wing is going to be really good at the objective to destroy the Star Destroyer, meaning we will finally have a full bomber-focused role in multiplayer space battles. At number 6, we've got a small detail about the Ryloth map, specifically a detail about the Lucrehulk core ship that seems to be the only droid ship in the map. They list it as a battleship, which means upgraded shields, armor, and weaponry compared to the standard converted Lucrehulks. So definitely a powerful ship, and moving on, the detail that I wanted to point out is that the ship has transmission antennas, which normally indicates that it is directly controlling droids on the surface of the planet. Now this could be the objective of this map, to knock out the droid control ship, and by doing so disable the droid armies on Ryloth. It would make a lot of sense, and if you take a look at this screenshot here, it seems that the control ship itself is on fire, so definitely a lot of evidence to suggest that. Moving on to number 7, I noticed that the Venator turrets do actually fire. I was guessing that they'd focus purely on the Lucrehulk battleship, which would make sense, but it actually seems in this frame here that they are tracking the Vulture droid. Now if this is indeed a new game mechanic where turrets on ships and platforms track like X-Wings, TIE Fighters, any enemy players, then that's a really interesting game feature. I'm hoping they do move forward with this, but obviously we're going to have to wait for more confirmation on that. I'm also hoping that we'll get some actual battery firing and not just randomized or simple timings that don't really add that much to the atmosphere. I can't imagine it would be too difficult to have the main battery fire in unison every couple of minutes or so. It's just little things like that that add atmosphere and an incredible amount of immersion to the game. Anyway, number 8 is way more interesting, so let's move on to that. Okay, so this one has been said over and over again on the Reddit and the Battlefront forums. Supposedly, these voices are Ahsoka and Anakin.
For the Republic! Bank hard! Incoming!
Now the thing is, we've got no confirmation for this. They could be Ahsoka and Anakin, they very well could be, since they did both participate in the liberation of Ryloth and the space battle above. And since we're dealing with clones, it is unusual to hear voices not by the clone voice actor. The thing that people are overreacting about though is assuming that that means they are playable heroes. At no point in the trailer did we see Ahsoka or Anakin as a hero or with a unique ship. My guess is if they are indeed Ahsoka and Anakin, then they're gonna be announcers only. So you might hear them throughout the battle giving you updates on the objectives or like just generic voice lines. But please guys, do not assume they're playable, there is no evidence for that. Now that's not to say they're not going to be playable in the future. I'd assume that in one of the season packs we may get Ahsoka or Anakin as a playable hero. But for release, please don't get your hopes up. Coming in at number 9, we've got the Droid Tri Fighter. I don't really have much to say about this one because it's only visible for a couple of frames at the end of the trailer. In this frame here, you can see it with its iconic triple engine design. Unfortunately, we don't know anything about its abilities yet, but I'm really hoping that it comes equipped with buzz droids. That would be really awesome, and it would be an incredible mechanic to add to the game. And the final detail for today's video is for the ARC 170. I actually just noticed this as I was rewatching the trailer. So in this sequence here, you can see the ARC 170 shoot both medium laser cannons at the same time at a much higher rate of fire than we've seen in the rest of the trailer. I think this almost confirms all three abilities on the ARC 170. We've got the rear turret ability, the homing proton torpedo ability, and the rapid fire cannons ability. Of course, that is assuming that the rear turrets actually fire. The thing is, I don't think they would have gone to the bother of animating them to have them not shoot. Considering we've got other functioning turrets on the Y-Wing, it would make sense if they're actually usable abilities. Anyway, that's it for this quick update. Thank you guys so much for your support. I'll see you next time, and may the Force be with you.